Hi, I'm Laura Wilson, owner and founder of Alkaline Healthtips.com. I get a lot of people asking my story, how did I get into the alkaline diet? So in this video, I'm just going to explain a little bit about my background and the effect the alkaline diet has had on my life, and hopefully it should serve to show you that no matter where you are in terms of your health, whether you're very healthy and want to get healthier and you want extreme fitness and energy and vibrancy, or whether you're in a place where you're really struggling with your health, then there's definitely hope for you, and the alkaline diet can really help you. So back when I was at university in 1998, I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle. I was a smoker. I smoked for about 7 years, and just led the typical student lifestyle. So I was out partying and drinking a lot with my friends, which incidentally is not really my kind of style. At school I was very studious, but what you find, and this is a problem with our society these days, is when you become a student, if you don't follow the lifestyle of going out, drinking, partying, I found, for me anyway, I was missing out on friendship opportunities and socialization opportunities if you didn't fit to that mold. So from a young age, if you go to university, even if you don't go to university, we're taught that the way to socialise is in pubs and bars, drinking with friends. So at age 18, I was set up in this unhealthy lifestyle, which partly I felt wasn't my fault. So if you can relate to that, where you are now, you might be thinking, I'm unhealthy. How did it get to this point? Well, society is set up to, it's not set up to promote good health. So I just want to highlight that first of all. But yeah, so I found myself at university drinking a fair bit, smoking every day, like 10 cigarettes a day, and just eating bad foods. I was in catered halls of residence for the first year, and breakfast consisted of pretty much a full English type affair, which was bacon, eggs, sausages, beans, so very greasy, very standard American, standard Western diet of this kind of, I call them like brown yellow foods. So, you just look at your plate and everything is like this brown and yellow colour, which is not appealing and not good for you. So I was eating badly at breakfast time, first meal of the day, plus I was getting up and smoking, quite often hungover and dehydrated from the night before. Then throughout the day, I'd go to university, go to my lectures, not that often I might add either. Again, like that whole university lifestyle, I was living not kind of focused and working hard. I only had 18 hours of lectures a week, so the rest of the time we were just kind of bumming around, chilling out, not doing much. So all in all, I was not living a productive, healthy life. So at lunchtimes, I would go to my lectures and then grab something to eat. So usually something like a Subway or a McDonald's, or just some fast food, just like crisps and chocolate from the local shop. And in the evening, we had an evening meal back in our halls of residence, which would typically be something like spaghetti bolognese or chicken pie and chips, or lasagna, or, just again, not healthy stuff. And a lot of people eat this kind of stuff and think that it's reasonably healthy. It's not. It's not. I can tell you, I had the occasional portion of vegetables, probably once a week, and it would be something like peas or broccoli boiled to within an inch of its life. So I was not eating fruits, I was not eating vegetables, I was not getting any alkaline foods, really. So I was living an unhealthy lifestyle, and I felt bad on it. At 19 years old, I felt very lethargic. I felt tired all the time. I had no energy. And when you have no energy physically, I had no energy mentally. I couldn't engage in interesting conversations and give a good point of view and be vibrant and enthusiastic because I had no energy. At age 18, 19, you don't really know yourself 100% anyway. So I was a little bit kind of unconfident and lacked direction in life. I was at university not living the lifestyle which was congruent with me. As I mentioned, I was a very studious person before that. At school, I went to an all-girls school and was very studious, and all of a sudden being thrown into this lifestyle of partying and was very alien to me. So I do believe that it's not often our fault if we fall into bad ways with our diet and health. Okay, so don't give yourself a hard time, but you need to acknowledge where you are and make some changes, as I did, because at 19 years old, having lived this lifestyle for about 2 years at university, I woke up one morning and I had this rash on my legs, a very, very itchy rash. And I had to go to the doctor immediately because it was that itchy. The doctor took a look at it and said, "Oh, well, that's alcohol poisoning." And I thought, "What do you mean alcohol poisoning? That's what alcoholics get, surely not me." And he said, "Oh, it's quite common amongst students," and just passed it off very blasé. And I thought, no, that's not acceptable. I felt like I'd really let myself down, and it was just a big wake-up call to me. And what made it worse was that the doctor was so kind of flippant about it. And I thought, no, this might be acceptable for other people, it might be commonplace, but it's not acceptable to me, and that's it. Something's got to change. So that was a really good turning point in my life, because from there I stopped going out partying as much. Yes, I lost a few friends, I stopped socialising as much, but what it did enable me to do, it enabled me to become a lot more strong-minded. So I stopped partying so much, I used that extra time and I joined a gym, just a very low-budget, low-cost council gym, kind of a spit and sawdust gym, but it had the basic equipment. It had a treadmill, it had a rower, it had weights. That was cool. And one of the gyms I was a member of, because there was a pool of 3 gyms I could go to with this council membership. One of them had a pool, so once a week I would go swimming in this big pool, and then about 3 times a week I would go to the gym. And it was a struggle to start with, I can tell you. Number one, it was nervous, me turning up on my own at this gym. I lived in Birmingham at the time, little white girl, lived in a rough area in Birmingham, so it was full of these big beefy black men. So that was intimidating to start with. And also just because I was so unfit, I remember the first time I ran a mile on a treadmill, I thought, right, I'd worked it out at home before. How much is a mile? A mile sounds good. Let's run a mile, because at school I'd only ever run, the furthest I'd run was 1,500 metres. And I was actually quite good at athletics at school. So I thought, well, maybe I should start with a mile. So I remember the first mile I did on a treadmill, I think I did it in about 12 minutes and I was so tired. Literally, my lungs felt they were going to pop out my chest and my face was like bright red. Because I was a smoker and so unfit, it was kind of every time I was at the gym, I would go bright red to the point where it looked like I was going to have some kind of heart attack. Now, just as an interjection, I can run, for miles and miles and miles and my face will stay kind of white and I'm fine. I don't feel like that at all. Anyway, back to then. So the first mile was terribly hard, but I thought to myself, I felt proud of myself when I did it. When I got home, I felt better. I had these endorphins. I felt like I was moving my body and it felt good. So I started building up from there. The next time I went to the gym, I ran 1.5 miles. And then within a few weeks, I was running 2 miles. And then I'd managed to get my times down. So I was running a mile in 11 minutes, then 10.5 minutes, then 10 minutes. And then I was upping the distance. So I was running 2 miles, 3 miles. And I remember when I ran 3 miles one day, I thought, my gosh, this is amazing. I've run 3 miles. That's like more than I'd ever run in my whole life. And it felt good. It felt good. It felt good in a totally different way to going out and getting drunk and, doing all these things that students do just because they're bored, they lack direction, they want to be friends with people, they want to socialise. That's not fulfilling long term. It's not even fulfilling in the short term, but it's the sign of someone who is not got direction in life, and that's where I was living, and it felt totally good to make that change. And yes, it was difficult, like I say, going to the gym and turning up on my own and all that, but I was getting more confident. I was beginning to lose weight. I got rid of this alcohol poisoning and was feeling good. And I was cutting down on my smoking. And from there, in the second year of university, I moved out into a house, so I wasn't catered for anymore, so I could choose my own foods. So I started cooking more healthy meals. Now, by my standards these days in the Alkaline diet, I didn't know anything about diet back then, so I thought it was good, it was healthy, and it was better. So I'd make myself things like chicken curries, so like lean chicken breasts with rice and like just a curry sauce, which was better than these very high fat fried foods I was having in the halls of residence. So it was an improvement. And I felt better. I cut down on the drinking. I was still smoking a fair bit, but I was cutting down with my smoking, and I was drinking more water, which I hadn't done before. Before I used to live on kind of fizzy drinks and teas and coffees and things like that. A little bit of water every now and then, but now just by going to the gym, I was drinking 2 litres of water plus every day. So I started feeling good, and that was incentive enough for me to carry on. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the rest of my story, what happened from there on in, and this is where I really began to find good health in the next video. So click on that video to watch the next instalment.